guys. So it's been a while again. I've been a bit busy. I still haven't even uploaded, or actually at this point I still haven't even edited the video explaining why I was so busy last time. But those videos will probably be up before this one goes up. I will make sure that I do try and put up my videos in order of filming where possible. And yeah, so I haven't actually spent a whole lot of time near my computer for the last like a week and a half. So I haven't actually replied to any comments yet, and I feel really, really bad because you guys have just been so nice. So nice on my last group of videos. So many of you left so many nice comments, and I feel bad for not just getting back to you guys. But life has been very busy. We had lots of really nice weather, so we've been out a lot. It was Luna's birthday this week just past. You'll have seen the pictures I put up of her on my Instagram. She's such a cutie sometimes. It was also Rowan's vaccine. Hot topic, vaccines. But yeah, he had his third immunization. This is his last one until he is a year old. Oh, that was a bit stressy. Because he's been ill and he's had that skin infection, he's very aware of syringes. And I can't remember if it's a 3-in-1 or a 4-in-1 he got last time. But it's the one with the meningitis live vaccine, so they have to give them paracetamol beforehand, so they give them a syringe of paracetamol, and he was not taking that. And the nurse that was administering it thought, if I give him his dummy, that if she gave him his dummy, I should say, it would help coax him to swallow it. But no, it just kind of compressed his tongue and made him throw up everywhere. It was everywhere. So she gave him a second syringe, and everything was fine after that. Sure, he cried after his needles, and he had a little bruise on his right leg from it. But apart from that, he's been fine. He didn't even get a fever. Not like a fever, but he didn't run a high temperature or anything this time round. The first time he had a meningitis jab, I did have to give him the paracetamol the 2 times because he was rather warm. But this time he was fine. A little grumpy and feeling sorry for himself, but why wouldn't you if you'd just been pricked with a needle against your will? But yeah, I think the longest I've spent at my computer in the last week and a half was when I wrote that piece about Kat Bundy. I saw it on Twitter when it broke, and yeah, I was on a few Twitter threads about it, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not really happy about it, but what can I really do? And then after a couple of days, it was just stewing in me, and I needed to say something. I needed to, especially, obviously, vaccines is the most important topic, but also raising your child vegan, raising specifically a baby vegan. There is a lot of problems with that, and it just kind of annoyed me that everyone's instant go-to was, oh well, if it's a well thought out, well planned diet, if they've well researched it. But you don't know if she's researched it properly. You don't know if anyone's researched things properly. I've seen reports of the one that particularly jumps out was, I can't remember if it was late last year or early this year, that a family in Australia, their child died because they tried to raise it on a vegan diet and it died of malnutrition. And these people have been vegans for a long time. Just people whose animals die because they try and raise it vegan. And then you have the anti-vaxxers with homeopathy recently, like within the last week of me filming this. There was, I believe it was in Canada, possibly. But there were a couple of anti-vaxxers. Their toddler got meningitis, and they tried to treat it with onion and garlic. And then they went to seek medical help at homeopathy place, not a hospital. They went to a homeopathic doctor. And if anyone doesn't know what homeopathy is, it's when they use medicines in such a minute amount that it doesn't work. Like, they sort of play off as a placebo effect, which I suppose has its place. But when it comes to your child has meningitis and they're so rigid that they can't sit in a chair because they're so far gone, you need to be going to A&E, you know? The whole, just honestly. And it was my partner that told me about it, and apparently these parents don't feel any, like, remorse for their actions that led to their child dying. Some people just need to be sterilised. I know that sounds horrible, but just no. If you do that to a child and you're not completely broken about it, fair enough if you genuinely believe this and you see the complete and utter error of your ways and your life is just in shatters shattered in pieces because of it, then I'll still hate you, but there's a forgivable quality there. These people, no. I would sterilise you. I would. Some people are probably going to hate me for that comment, but I really don't care. It's how I feel. This video was not meant to be about that. It really wasn't. I will leave my post about Kat Von D and her decision, well, just her post in general, because the whole damn post really just... It burrowed into my core and lit a fire, is what it did. I'm so worked out about it. I'm not even telling you what I've been doing. I put down brulee as a base all over, and then I went in with Kid. I'm now taking a brush. I got some new products in between time. I know I said I wasn't going to be shopping, but I got a deal that I really just couldn't pass up, and I picked up some Zoeva brushes, a couple of other things, and there was like this big goodie bag for the Cult Beauty birthday. I will put it in a little show and tell video, even though it's way past the time, but I just want to show you what came in it and what I think of everything. But I'm going into the Masquerade palette. I'm taking Burkina, just on the Zoeva Luxe Smoky Shader. I actually really like this for just packing on colour. I'm gonna try a little bit of a... I know these are called halo eyes now, but back in the day they were called spotlights. if anybody remembers spotlight looks, spotlight shadow. We do it on the two sides and then you do a spotlight in the middle. I'm probably like really failing at this because I haven't done this in like freaking years. But anyways, a little update on my little Robo. That's why I call him my little Robo, or frog face, because he does have a bit of a frog face. My cute little frog prince. His skin is almost completely cleared up now. The doctor is super happy. The health visitor was not super happy, I will say, but you know, the less said about that the better. I'm so sick of going to see the health visitor and then coming out of there feeling like I'm the worst parent in the world. And then I go to the doctor and the doctor's like, yeah, everything's fine. So yeah, everything's fine. So I'm just gonna blend this up into the crease just so it's blended slightly. This is the Luxe Defined Crease, and it's kind of cool. It's got like a very bluntly cut curved edge there. It's not fluffy, which is kind of unique. I've not seen many brushes like this. And I like how it's doing. I like what it's doing. So yeah, the doctor was perfectly happy with him. The only thing that she prescribed for me this time round was, because he's got his steroid creams and he's got hydrocortisone cream, She prescribed a second hydrocortisone cream specifically for his neck area, because anyone who's got kids will know, like, until they're like maybe 6 months old, they don't really have a neck. Like 6 to 9 months old, they don't really have a neck, and everything, drool, spit, fluff, puke, milk, everything just collects in the folds of their neck. And when it's particularly hot, they can like be rubbing in the crib and rub the gunk in their neck, and it just it causes irritation and it can cause infection. And because of his eczema, she wanted me to take extra care of that specifically. So she gave me like an antifungal cream to put in there, and it worked a treat, cleared up, because he had a persistent redness in this area specifically. Everywhere else cleared up, but just that bit, because it's where he lays his head when he sleeps. A day with the antifungal cream cleared it up perfectly, and she also gave me an antihistamine. So once that cleared up, I did give him an antihistamine. She gave it to me for because he does scratch sometimes during the night and it wakes him up. I don't know what necessarily the antihistamine's combating, but I gave him the antihistamine for 3 nights. Last night was the second night that he hasn't had it, and he's been fine. So I'm gonna go into Dahlia. I know this is like a palette full of color, and I'm just going for a pure basic look. Mostly because I want to film today, so I don't want to fuck up my makeup. So yeah, little Frogger is currently having a nap, so he'll be out for probably another hour or 2. We've got him on a nice sleeping routine, a nice feeding routine. He's eating so much better now. I remember last time I updated you guys on him. Well, the last video that's live at the moment, I can't remember what I said in my last update that hasn't gone up yet. But I remember saying that I was concerned about his eating, and but he's really picked up his eating habits now, and he is kind of like, he was taking between a 90 or 120 mils, maybe a 180 at max. Now he's taking at least 160, 170, and sometimes he'll take up to 230, which is amazing. So that's always good. And he's growing like a weed. He's growing out all his clothes. I'm just going in with a bit more Burkina just to deepen out my outer edges. Not the best light in here today, but it's the best I can do at the moment. I mean, well, actually it's not. I got lights, guys. I got lights. I have one set up. It's just their daylight bulbs, and I remember when everyone on YouTube was trying to be a bit more professional with their setup, and everyone was like, oh, get daylight bulbs. Daylight bulbs are probably, they're alright, daylight bulbs, but it depends what you mean by daylight. I'm currently in daylight, and this is very cool toned daylight. Daylight can also be very warm toned. They just mean it's not an incandescent bulb. And I find daylight bulbs are just a bit too this. They just make me look very grey. So I might switch the bulb in the other one for an incandescent bulb. Oh, I don't even know what I'm doing with this, guys. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm going to take a little bit of Zulu. It's the warmer brown that's underneath Burkina. I just don't even know what I'm doing here. I just need to get this on my face so I can go and do other stuff. Let's just finish this up, because let's just face it, I can't do these. I can't do them. At least not at the moment. I need to practice a whole crap ton more. I'm loving this brush though. This blender thing. Is that what it's called? Defined crease brush. Not blender brush, crease brush. It just gets in there and blends at the same time. It's not too full of bristles. I do find some crease brushes are trying to be too fluffy and end up having too many bristles. Sometimes having it being a bit more sparse helps a lot. Primer. Do I have a primer in here? Right, so primer. I've got my pore minimizing one from Smashbox, and I'm also going to put in the No. 7 Skin Illuminator. And because we've been so busy, well, I've been busy doing other things, but I'll get to that in a minute. Because I've been so busy, I haven't actually been wearing makeup a lot, like at all. I think I've worn makeup twice in the last week and a bit. Actually, probably even longer than that. I think I've worn makeup maybe when I filmed those videos after my birthday. Since then, so that would be like what, the 22nd or something, the 22nd of May. I think I've worn makeup like 2 or 3 times. I've just so, excuse me, hiccups. So as far as project planning goes and stuff like that, I haven't really been making a whole lot of progress. So yeah. Which is also why there hasn't been any, like, well, I haven't had time to film them. So finish a sentence, girl. I was going to say that's why there hasn't been any makeup baskets, but at the same time I haven't had time to film any makeup baskets. So I'm still working out of that same makeup basket that I put a video up for a couple of weeks ago. At least I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember. Time passes really quickly, but it feels like it's a really long time at the same time. It's bizarre. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh my god, I haven't done something in ages, and I'll look and be like, oh wait, it was only like 3 days ago? So yeah. So that is my primer. I'm also going to take a little bit of green, the green primer from L'Oreal, and I'm going to pop that all around my nose. And onto my cheek area, just takes down some of the redness down the centre of my face. Sorry to stop midstream there, but my neighbour's kid started having a tantrum in the landing, and I don't think you guys really wanted to hear that. Because of our landing is basically just like this concrete funnel, so the slightest noise you make just echoes everywhere. You can't do anything in that landing without everybody hearing it. So yeah, green primer. That was about half a pump's worth of primer, and it did my nose all along the cheeks there, and I did a bit on my nose, on my chin I should say. And there goes my baby. I'll be right back. That's actually something that happens quite a lot. It's kind of irritating, but it's not something I can help. My neighbour's kid will have a tantrum, plus because their child's bedroom is right next to my daughter's bedroom, so if her kid has a tantrum in the middle of the night or gets up super early, it wakes up my kid and I have to get up early. I was up at 4:30 yesterday. Not a happy person. Not a happy person. So, going in with the Lancome Tinted All Ultra, I'm just going to take 3 pumps of that guy. I have actually kind of missed this foundation. I forgot how kind of thick, like it's not like it's thick, but it's like, you know, it's kind of like a really lotiony consistency, because I've just been so used to quite thin consistency foundations. But yeah, I'm glad to have this guy back out and doing its thing. And it's that nice thing that it's good coverage, but it's not like death mask coverage. Great. So aside from being out and about, doing doctor's appointments, visiting with the family, I was going to say fam, but I'm just not young enough and hip enough to say fam. I'm really not. What else did I have been brainstorming like crazy. You guys have heard me talking about the basic makeup thing. I'm in the process of setting up a couple of new websites. I have a business model that I'm working on that I need to propose to my boss. I know I'm on maternity leave, but I get bored. There's only so many head, shoulders, knees and toes I can put up with before I need to go and do something adult. But I've basically been working on like some marketing strategy ideas. Because in the past I attended it was a PR and marketing course done by my local college. I was told it was supposed to be journalism when I applied for it. What happened is I'd applied for a course, but I'd been oversubscribed. And so we were put into this conference thing, this group, and we were given options, and one of them was either to do social sciences or to do journalism. I wish I'd taken the social sciences. I would have gone on and gone to university and everything would have been grand. But you know, hindsight's 2020, right? So I chose the journalism one. And turns out it wasn't journalism at all. It was PR and marketing. And in PR and marketing, they basically went over the exact same stuff all the time. It was all stuff I already knew as well. You can only read so many magazines before you become kind of aware of marketing tactics, you know. And then from there, I also attended I got a Groupon for social media marketing, and I did a couple of the classes with that. It was like a £20 course, so it wasn't a great deal of money I lost on it. But everything the guy went over, it was like so basic. It was insane. So it's all information I already have. I already know how to work all the systems, and I was just figuring I could sell my skill. I don't want to talk too much about my workplace in case my boss is watching, because I don't actually. He's shared a couple of my videos before. I don't actually know if he's like subscribed or anything. But I will say I work for a cafe basically, and in the years I've worked there, I have seen clientele levels drop. It's gonna go in with the touche magique. Most of the time, we build up a core of retired regulars, and eventually retired people die. So when your regulars are dying and you get fewer and fewer replacement regulars, you need to be making more of an effort to attract new clientele. And I don't want to say that they're not putting in enough effort, I just don't think they're doing the right things. Like my boss is trying to... You might even have seen the message boards on Facebook, but he comes up with these jokes that he puts on a sandwich board outside the shop, and he's trying viral media marketing, which is great, but doesn't really get people in the door. We need things like staff training and motivation. We need to know what it is that's making people not want to come back. We need people to know we exist, have a draw, have a deal. And I've put together a drafts. It's almost a 20-page proposal that he might just turn down flat. He doesn't even know I'm doing it. I just did it off my own back. And if it works and he lets me do it, and the strategy itself works, then I might branch out and try and approach other local businesses and see if they want, a company analysis, a branding and marketing strategy, help with social media marketing and that kind of thing. I mean, obviously I've got the basic makeup thing going on, but I just need to dial all that back, to be honest. Everything that I want to do with that is it's too much for one person to do, and it's not going to be, what would be the right word? I'm not going to reap as much benefits as quickly as I would with consultancy, I suppose. I mean, I really want to do the basic makeup thing. It's like a passion project of mine. But I do have to think realistically, like providing for my family. If I can do the consultancy thing, you're looking at, actually, I should totally give credit where credit is due. Charlie Levy, if you're watching this, honey, she does social media marketing, I think it is, or media online marketing in her current job, and it just triggered me. I was like, how does a person get into that? Because I feel like I'm way too old to be going back. Like, I'm not way too old, obviously, there's older people than me, but I feel like I don't have the lifetime to go back to school, if that makes sense. Like, the years you would have to put in, I would have to go back to college for a year or two to get the qualifications, to get into university, to be at university for another 4 years. And then by that time, the window of opportunity will be completely obliterated, It's kind of what I'm constantly thinking about, is how to better myself, how to provide for my family without relying on someone else giving me employment. Try and seek out my own incomes. I know you're still relying on. I was still technically relying on other people for income, but not as much. It's more like, hey, you're not getting money from this person, I can go to 10 other people and try and get some money out of them. It gives you more freedom. It gives you more opportunity. It's not as much as, oh, well, business has been slow this week, so you can't have any hours. I totally forgot to tell you, I went over with the Laura Mercier powder, the mineral powder in soft porcelain. This is the Lancome Sourcils in Chantin, which I still need to sharpen. I keep forgetting to sharpen it. So I'm working with the blunt stub. So these are not going to be my best brows in the world. So yeah, if I can get a consultancy thing up off the ground, I'd still do the multi-stream model, have the blog going, have some saleable content, maybe make a small video channel to go along with it, that kind of thing. We'll see. I don't want to be thinking too far ahead and then feel gutted when I don't achieve things, There we go. Actually, kind of makes the eyeshadow look a bit better now that I've got the foundation and eyebrows on. Although this eyebrow, it feels as though this eyebrow is like half the size of this one. This one just feels so like swoosh, and this one just feels like a stub. I think I must have like overplucked the tail or something. But again, I don't want to overdraw it and fuck it up. For highlight today, I'm going to use something different. This is one of the products that I got in the goodie bag from Cult Beauty. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit in Sun Dipped. I never would have probably bought this off my own back. I've always wanted to, and I've always put it off. I've not even touched it. Oh, it just seems so insane to me. Oh, they're pretty. Oh, so that's Summer at the top and then Moonstone at the bottom. I'm gonna use Moonstone because it looks more my sort of shade. Summer just seems a bit too yellow. Because obviously it's 4 different types of highlight, and I don't know necessarily that oh, it's actually really powdery. I don't know which colours I would actually use out of it, and so far I can only definitely say I would use the Moonstone one out of this. Let's swatch Tourmaline and Bronzed. So Bronzed and then Tourmaline. Blend Tourmaline out a bit. Yeah, I could never use those two as a highlight. I'm glad I didn't pay for it. Let's just say that. I'm glad I didn't pay for it. But Cult Beauty, whenever, like, I think I've said this before, but a couple of times a year they'll do like a goodie bag giveaway kind of thing. They'll do one at like I think they do one at their birthday and they do one around Christmas time, and it's basically a way for them to try and get rid of overstock. So who knows really how old this is. I'd probably have to look up the batch code, but it does feel quite powdery, so it might have been sitting about for a while. But you know, it looks, doesn't really look like much on the skin. I don't. No, I didn't need this in my life. I'm so glad I didn't pay for it. So for underneath the eyes, I'm going to go in with some more from the Masquerade palette. I'm going to go in with... Are we feeling some colour today? Or should we just play it safe? I think we'll play it safe. I'm going to go in with Ada, which is like the reddishy colour. And I'm just going to take that along there. This is the brow line brush. I don't think I would ever use this for my brows. I think it'd be perfect for a powder liner. I'm just going to take a little bit of Burkina on this Morphe brush. It's an M562 brush. And just blend that out slightly. This kind of brings me back to being a teenager. You know, when everybody was like emo and you had red underneath your eyes all the time. I actually used to have it said an eye and lip liner. And it was red, and I used to put it in my waterline and then I'd run it underneath and blend it under. I should actually do a video on how I used to do my emo makeup. I think that would be kind of cool. And just take the deluxe crease brush again. Just blend it a little bit more. And in the inner corners, I'm going to take some of that Giza, the shimmery highlighty shade. Very, very pretty. And drag this along to pull this under color back a bit. So I've been like over the last day I've been putting together like a plan for content for all these platforms that I want to create. So it's basically going to be like a 3 videos a week here kind of thing. 3 videos a week. Well, 3 videos a week on here, 3 blog posts. You know what? I'm going to do a blog post about it and I will link that in the info box because it's going to be so much quicker than me trying to rattle off everything and try and remember everything that I'm trying to rattle off. Just going to go in with the terracotta from grwm. But just be known, there is going to be more sort of stable, regular content. I'm going to speak to Nick and I'm going to put my foot down and be like, these are the days I'm doing work. Okay? These are the days I'm doing work. You do not distract me on these days because I'm working, because I need to make something work. You know what, if you guys just go and check my blog, I've talked a lot about a lot of things that are bothering me, a lot of problems I've been having lately. My finances are all over the fucking place at the moment. Like, I made a boo-boo. I made a huge fucking boo-boo. Have you ever done that thing where you're like, oh, I have some like extra money on my account, so I'm just gonna make this cheeky little makeup purchase, and then the day after, this is probably exactly as the tweet went out, but then you make your cheeky little makeup purchase and the day after the parcel arrives, you get text in your bank being like, oh yeah, you're overdrawn. Why am I overdrawn? Because that money was actually for a payment. And usually the bank withholds money that's been reserved for a payment, and for some reason this time it didn't. So that was fun. And it's going to take me at least 3 months to get my finances back on track. I've worked out a plan. I've worked it out to the penny of what is going where and when. I made a boo-boo. I'm going to be way more conscious of my boo-boos in future. But yeah, it really fucked me over a bit. And that's kind of why I really want this marketing thing to really work, and hopefully my boss will pick it up, and hopefully if it works out, I can earn some extra money doing that and take it to other companies, and hopefully they'll take it on and everything will be hunky freaking dory. But until then, yeah, your girl's on a really tight budget, like stupidly tight, and I definitely will not be purchasing anything else, like possibly for the rest of the year. Unless it's toothpaste or sanitary products, your bitch ain't buying it. Speaking of which, I need mouthwash. I'm almost out of mouthwash. I know it's like a luxury having mouthwash, but I need... Ever since I started using mouthwash, I haven't gotten sick as much because it clears out my throat and stops... I know this is a little gross, but seriously though, it stopped me from getting sick. It's like cleared out my throat and stopped bacteria build-up, because I used to be very prone to be getting like... sinusy problems or like chesty problems, because you know, like stuff from your nose goes down your throat and it gets caught in your lungs and all that fun, not disgusting at all stuff to talk about. Sorry, that blush was Amaretto from Becca. I freaking love this blush so much. I hope they come out with it as a single, because once it's done, I can be heartbroken. But yeah, I'm just gonna blend that down a little bit with the powder brush because it does get too close to my mouth sometimes. And lastly, we need some mascara, and this is the Clinique High Impact. Okay, and for the lips, I'm just going to keep it nude. I'm going to use Gone with the Nude from L'Oreal. I haven't used lip liner in such a while. It's actually crazy. I have a feeling these lip liners are going to be really easy to pan because they're so creamy. I might put them in a project pan later in the year. On top of that, I'm going to use Victoria's Nude Spice lipstick. So obviously I haven't really been using my love of lipsticks either, so the update on that's going to be a little later than planned, but I do still want to work on that, and I do still need to update my Finish 1330, which again, I haven't exactly been on top of those products, but I'll explain that more in the video and talk about that more in the video. So that's my makeup done. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to update you guys on. As I say, there will be a bunch of links, a lot of links in the info box if you've made it this far. I have a feeling this video is going to be another 24, 34 minute video. I swear the last Get Ready With Me I edited, it was over an hour long worth of footage. Thankfully there was like a 5-minute chunk of just dead space where I've left the room in the middle. And I managed to edit it down to whatever it was. But seriously, sometimes I edit down over an hour's worth of footage. I need to just shut up and get on with what I'm getting on with, you know? Which is why I linked all these things in the info box, so that, you know, everything that I wanted to talk about, but I felt like there wasn't time, is in there. Although now that I've done this little ramble, I've probably used up whatever time I saved. Anyways, I will catch you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to go and film a couple more videos now, which will be up really, really soon, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.